there's a piece that I want to talk to you guys about this Cash App. There has been some misnomers, some things that you might not have known and might not recognize. But Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo is a part of not allowing you as a business account to no longer make over $600 without having a 1099 sent to you for tax purposes. So if you're a business account with Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal, after $600, you're going to have to pay taxes on every dollar that you get unless you send the money as a reimbursement for drinks, food, rent, and things like that. But if you're with Zelle, because Zelle is not a settling funds account, you're able to use the Zelle account to transfer funds. What is a settling account? A settling account is when you transfer funds from person to person or goods from person to person. Well, Zelle is set up to transfer funds from bank to bank. And because they're not set up as a settling account, you're able to use Zelle to transfer funds and not have to worry about the $600. Now, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, business accounts, you will have to pay the income taxes on everything after $600. If you have a personal account with Cash App, they said you do not have to pay the additional $600 income tax.
On the beats.
Deeper. Yeah. If you survive and can see through the pain, it gets deeper.
Virtue strikes today.
If you can shine through the guilt and the shame, it gets deeper. It only takes one moment to change. You might be hurting, but you still ain't helpless. And the revelation carries way more than a message. It's more to that lineup. It's the mind behind, son. Over your mind, you realize.
Yeah.
You might be hurting, but you're not helpless.
But you're not helpless. Keep it in the cut.
Help is on the way.
Yeah.
Peace is nice, please. It's like Chinese diets on peas and rice. Righteous, you see my sight whenever I...
What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon. We live right now. I'm in the studio with my man Smitty. Good morning, Smitty. Good morning. Good morning. We your host. I'm halftime. That's Smitty over there. It's a great day to be alive, man. You know why? Because we woke up today, man. We sitting in front of each other, Smitty.
Today.
You know what I'm saying? It's that day, right? It's that day, baby. It's a good time for living. And I'm just so excited. Listen, everybody. Listen. This is the episode, Fear of the Entrepreneur. Fear of Entrepreneurship. Man,
yeah.
This is the fear. We're going to talk about the fear. We're going to talk about taking risks. We're going to talk about, man, changing the game for the new upcoming entrepreneurs, man. You know what I'm saying, Smitty?
Ain't no status quo, baby. We got to take chance.
But, man, we got to have a little dessert first, man. We got to have a little appetizer. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know if we can call this an appetizer, but we just going to go into it, man. You know, it's been a big week for me, man. Just kind of, I'm emotionally unstable when we talk about this topic we're going to discuss, but I'm just all over the place. I need you to help me, Smitty. In the NFL.
Man.
Oh, I know when I say NFL, everybody
man.
Like, whoa, okay, yeah, he coming.
Yeah.
He coming. Smitty,
NFL.
what you think, man? Okay, we got a situation in the NFL, and I'll let you kick it off, man, and kind of let us know, inform everybody what's going on with this NFL situation.
Well, the NFL has a situation on its hands where it's really dealing with what looks to seem to be racism, and pushing people out of a certain race and a certain gender.
Sure.
The minorities are not getting the same opportunities as, our counterpart white brothers are. So it's like now we're dealing with a situation at hand, and it's always been something that we've thought as a race and as minorities that was going on within corporate world. But then when you start getting some facts and some text messages and
about it
and some truth come out. I mean, this situation, we have Brian Flores where he has put in a situation where he said with Miami ownership literally tried to sabotage him by offering him $100,000 per game to lose.
Come on, man.
To lose the game as a coach. You telling the coach to put the team in a position to lose, and for every game that you lose, I'll give you $100,000. This is what's being alleged by Brian Flores. And he's saying that is not just the only situation that happened. And he said, he told him straight to his face, well, I'm not going to be able to do that. And he turned around and, then he's getting ready, he get fired. And he said the reason why he got fired was because he was difficult to work with. Everybody, the day that he got fired, and they call it Doomsday Monday, the Monday after the season is over with.
Sure. And
he got canned, and it was something of a surprise to a lot of people because nobody thought Brian Flores, he was bringing the team along. They was doing well. The Miami Dolphins were playing very good towards the end of the season.
They were.
And so he got fired, and it came out that the organization said that he was difficult to work with. Not that he wasn't coaching right, not that his players didn't like him, not that he wasn't putting the team in a position to be the best that they were. It was difficult to work with. And it comes out after he's been fired because Brian Belichick, he sends him an email because Flores used to work with Belichick. He was an assistant for Belichick. And so he was working with Belichick, and Flores was sent a text message by Belichick to say congratulations on a new job.
Right.
And Flores like, I still got 3 days before I get ready and even interview with the Giants. How am I? You know something I don't know? How you congratulating me? And so in terms, it comes back and he says, are you sure, I got the job? He's like, yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I got an email that said you the one that they're hiring. He comes back later and says, oh, I made a mistake. And he used some language. I made a mistake. They're hiring Brian DeBall, which was a white guy. And Flores is trying to figure out, well, how 3 days before I take an interview, you already know that they're hiring somebody else.
Right. Yeah, I don't have a chance.
Right. So it's really like I'm just a box being checked because, in the NFL, you have to interview at least 2 minorities.
Sure.
For a coaching position. You have to interview 2 minorities for general manager positions and stuff like that. So they've made it a Rooney rule in place that you have to at least interview minorities.
No matter whether you're going to give them the job or not.
No matter whether they get the job or not. It's supposed to give minorities a fair chance at getting the opportunity to get the job.
Wow.
But this situation played out as if Flores, like many people have said before, Deuce Staley and Brian Benamy and other black coaches have said that they have just been a box that's been checked, so to speak, to say, I did interview 2 minorities,
absolutely,
even though we already have who we want. And this situation played out in a very bad circumstances where it's looking like it might get kind of messy because if you start going through these emails, how's Brian Belichick for the New England Patriots getting an email from anybody about what's going on with the New York Giants, except there be a good old boys club and a communication lines that nobody else knows about. And if Brian Flores can get some of these other minority coaches to team up with them, they can really start uncovering some things and get a chance to put things out there, and whatever's in those emails might be seen if it actually does go to court.
No, and wow, this is a big story, man. And I don't think a lot of people really understand how serious it is. It's like
it's real serious.
It's real serious. It's real serious, Smitty. And that's one of the things that it's been in my mind, and I wanted to make sure that we talked about that today.
Man, it's really racism at its finest in a lot of attributes, and I'm gonna say it just like it is because the reality of it is we want to think that things are fair, but the reality of it is it's not.
It's not fair.
There are things and how much better minorities have to be than other white people in order to get the job, other white men, should I say, to get the job, because it's like you feel like I'm up against it and I don't have no control over it.
And not only that, how long has it been happening?
Yeah.
That's a question. Like the digging and the investigations that are on the way, I'm just waiting on the report to show how long and how many of these leaders, right, owners and managers, coaches, and staff member executives that has that power to make those ultimate decisions.
That's what makes it so intriguing, because it's a difference in thinking about it or having a feeling about it.
Sure.
But then when you start getting information that reveals truth,
come on, man.
Now you have something and some legs to walk with and to stand on to say, you know what, this is something that needs to take be taking a real look at.
Yeah.
Whether real change comes or not, it's going to be difficult to say, because the reality of it is if they have been doing this and this has been a situation that's been going on, then they've created a way where you're not going to be able to penetrate their bond, or because I mean, at the end of the day, it's the 32 owners that make the decisions. You know, Roger Goodell, he works for them. So what can he really do? It's going to have to be something of an outsider type of situation that's going to cause any change. But as long as their money is, we'll see what comes of it.
Bottom line,
but it don't make it right though. It's wrong. It's two left shoes, and it's something that needs to be spoken to, and it does need to be seen for what it is. If this is true, I'm hoping that every situation is revealed and we get some necessary change so that there is some equality.
Yes,
in the NFL. I've personally stopped watching, to be honest with you. I've stopped watching the NFL like that. I haven't watched a full game in 2 years, for real.
Yeah, it's been a lot going on in the NFL for us. I share the same concern, the same exact concerns, honestly. And it's just so much when you find yourself being taken advantage of, you know, you're being talked to a certain kind of way, you've been treated unfairly, and you're getting paid to do a job. You go out there and do your job, but then I still do not have the same opportunities, equal fair opportunities as everyone else. And it's only because of the skin, my skin color, the color of my skin. That's what's unfair. We already, Smitty, you know how hard you work to be where you are, man. You know what I'm saying? We're not even going to talk about the
Don't
privilege.
take away from me.
Don't take away from me, right? I work real hard, man. I earned to be here. But it seemed like as hard as I work, I'm still outnumbered. I'm still behind the 8 ball. I'm still trying to figure out how to make it to that next level.
Yeah, but we can't be stopped though, baby.
Oh, we already won. It's victory. I'm victorious. It's a past tense. I won.
I wouldn't be mad if all these prominent, rich, wealthy black men get together and start some of their own. Hey, why not? Try it. Try me. Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Entrepreneurship.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Nah, don't be scared.
We strong enough to do it. We're strong enough to do whatever we want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So. And I mean, that was just something that I wanted to bring out, Smitty, to you. I know we talked about it off the show, but you know, in life, we just deal with so many uncertainties, even in entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
Even in entrepreneurship. And this segment, everybody, you know, it's about the fear of entrepreneurship. The fear of entrepreneurship. Smitty, let me ask, why when we say the word fear, why does it come across as if it's wrong, or something is happening, or I'm afraid, or I'm repelling, or I really don't want to jump out there? That word fear, what does that mean? Before we talk about fear of entrepreneurship, just the word fear, what does that mean to you?
Fear has so many different elements to it. The reality of it is I thought about, and you might have heard this before, but I put together an acronym, or I heard an acronym, should I say, of the word fear. FEAR. False evidence appearing real. There are things. That's what fear is. It's something that comes.
No. You're not gonna just. You ain't go 187. We ain't doing no drive by, brother. Bring to me real. Give me that one more time, brother.
False evidence appearing real. Fear is what you see and what you think could be the possibility of stymieing you, stopping you, blocking you from getting what you want to do, doing what you want to do. But the reality of it is, if you walk into what's causing you to be fearful, you'll find out it's false.
For sure.
Because you can't be stopped. But it's false evidence because of what you're seeing.
You better get it.
You think it's real, and so you stop on your own. See, fear will make you stop yourself. Because of what you think you saw.
So it's a mirage.
It's a mirage.
It's a smoke screen. It's a smoke screen, buddy.
It's false. You gotta realize what's at hand here. The whole goal is to stop you from moving forward.
That's right.
And progressing in any motion at any time. They want you to be at a place of stagnation.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is, you false, and I see you
right.
far off.
That's right. I see you way down the line. You're faking, man. It's not real.
False evidence appearing real.
But false evidence appearing real, that's good. But what about the benefits of false being? We talk about fear, though. What about those benefits of fear?
Fear, hey, be honest with you, fear comes along with anything that you're doing, especially in entrepreneurship. when you start off anything that you're trying to do within an entrepreneurship mindset, you got to realize fear comes into play, and it's a real piece of you even beginning to move. If anybody be honest with you, before they started anything that they had that of the unknown, there's a level of fear that goes into it because you don't know everything that it encompasses. Even when you do your research, you still don't understand its totality of everything that comes along with what you're about to do. So there's a level of fear in it.
I agree.
Fear can come from something as simple as you never seen nobody do it before.
Yeah.
Right. Being raised in a family that you've never seen victory be had in business, it could cause you to be stymied and fearful to move into it. Cause it's like,
Absolutely.
okay, nobody in my family ever did it. So
I'm the only one.
Why me? Why do I think I'm able to do it? Why would I be able to be successful in this? So, so fear really is a part of literally the entrepreneur's mindset in every aspect. But once you realize that it's not something that's going to hold you back, you can begin to walk in everything that you wanted and get everything that you want out of it. Because the reality of it is fear is just to get you to move away from what you know is right.
Yeah.
And get you to bag back. But the reality of it is, if you keep walking and go towards it, you'll find out it's just as fake as you thought. Absolutely.
And I agree. And then you said something about family. Like I was a product of that. Just for example, a lot of people may know me, but then some they don't. And my upbringing, like my whole family still do work at Ford Motor Company. Yeah. Entire family. Right. Entire family work at Ford Motor Company. And I'm the only one that chose to choose entrepreneurship.
Because the reality of it is, you got to think about it. How you were raised does play a role in what you decide to do later on in life. And so if all you seen was a school teacher in your home, or a police officer in your home, or a firefighter in your home, and you look at your parents, you'll start looking to say, you know, I think I want to be a firefighter. Not because necessarily that's what you want to do, because that's a place of comfort. Yeah. Right. When you start walking to entrepreneurship, it's the place of the unknown. So there's a level of uncomfort in it that will cause you to just be like, you know what? I better go in the safe zone.
A little apprehensive.
But there are some people that were born to be entrepreneurs.
Woo, talk about it. It's in my blood. Y'all already know. It's in my bloodline.
I can't find myself. I can't see myself being happy doing anything else. Other than working for myself. And those things that come along with it, it's scary. It's a little scary talking about having to do taxes, having to balance the books and balance the bank, and making sure the business is restocked and making sure everything is good, because it all falls on you. But reality of it is that fear, it'll drive you when it's in your blood.
Yeah, and that's true. I was young, man. I've been cutting hair, man. I feel it was in my blood. I didn't know it at that time, since I was 12 years old.
Wow.
I was 12 years old. I tell y'all my age. Y'all want to know how old I am? I'm 44. You know what I'm saying? I'm 19 going on 44, you know. But Smitty, man, I started this back in some time. Y'all do y'all math later. You know what I'm saying? But I was 12 years old, and I had the passion to do it. And I graduated from Kettering High School. KE represent, stand up. I got him this week.
You try that. You got it. Denby, we already know.
Yeah, we know. But but I graduated from FAM. I graduated from Kettering High School, and I was awarded this manufacturing internship. It was Ford Academy of Manufacturing, and it was FAMS, FAMS, and they gave me the opportunity as an intern that summer when I graduated to find out if that's what I wanted to do. Yeah. My grandmother consulted me, and she said, I encourage you strongly. And the reason why she did is because that's what she did. Yeah. And that's what she got. She compelled my mother, my father, my uncles, my aunts, my siblings right now, my sisters, now they're in Ford Motor Company. They didn't take the buyout. I have uncle that was uprooted from here, from Michigan. He's in Phoenix now. He's been in Phoenix in 2006 when all of the buyout stuff started happening. He said, I ain't taking it. I'm going to stay. But at that time, man, I got an opportunity back in 96 to see what the plant life was about. And it's no takeaway for me. It just wasn't my thing.
Yeah, sure.
It's nothing wrong with that's what you want.
Hey, it ain't in your blood.
It ain't in my blood. You know what I mean? I picked them clippers up. I got many whippings down. Y'all don't know nothing about Arbor drugs. Arbor drugs. That's all. It's CVS now. But I got spankings in Arbor drug because I just wanted those clippers, man. It was something about them clippers.
Absolutely.
And I that's all I just wanted them. And here we are now, all these years later, man. And we sitting here, Smitty. But one thing, if I could ask you a question, just have you talk about like never doubting yourself, because you only can give yourself longevity, right? If you never doubt, never settle. What's that piece mean to you?
See, doubting, be honest with you, man, it's a part of it, because as I talked about a little bit before, the unknown space does give you reservations about it, because you're like, I'm not just 100% sure on this thing, but I feel it. It's like, how do you know when it's time to move within the entrepreneurship gift that's been put on your life, right? And in that time and choosing that, there's a level of doubt that comes along and make you think like, I know I should do it. I feel it in my spirit. I feel it in my body. I know I can get this done.
Yeah.
But then you got reservations that show up and you're like, oh man, should I do this? Is the time? How do you know it's the time? How do you know when to move, when to hold up? But the feeling of the doubt will begin to drive you and say, because it's nothing like telling me something I can't do.
Oh man, that's fuel. That's fuel.
See, that doubt turned to fuel. You know what I'm saying? And it begins, and it starts to put you in a position and a mindset that I can't be stopped. I can do whatever I want to do. When I'm ready to do it, I can get this done.
When I'm ready to do it.
And so it's a feeling that goes along with it, because the purpose has already been birthed in you before you was ever born.
Come on.
And so when purpose and that passion meets, then it ain't gonna do nothing but take off, and the enmity of success is automatic. So, you got to realize that you're moving in a place and in an area of success, but it's going to take a little bit of doubt. It's going to have a little bit of doubt on you at times, and not knowing because of the unknown. But the reality of it is, if you keep moving, if you keep going,
that's good.
If you persevere through it, you'll make it to the other side of it and see the success of everything that you're looking for.
Before you finish your statement, before you finish that, because you said something good. you said it, and I'll say it like this. Your purpose will be made manifest when preparation and opportunity become acquainted.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can't walk through the door, man, unless you have made preparations previously.
Yes, sir.
Months, years down the line, even. Go ahead, Smitty.
I just thought about it. Something that I heard you say and talk about making adjustments within entrepreneurship, right? Ooh. So we know that there are times where you're gonna have doubt, frustration, irritation,
most definitely,
and there are times that you have to make adjustments within your entrepreneurial life. What does that adjustment look like? What does that adjustment mean to you, and how important is it to be able to make adjustments in the midst of entrepreneurship?
Wow, that's big time question. Life is all about adjustments. First of all, before I get into it, just as a human being, man, there's so many necessary adjustments that we need to make, man. I'm a father of 5. I had a beautiful granddaughter, Zanila. Love you, boo. Pop, see you later. Zanila. But there's adjustments that even in this last 3 weeks, tomorrow should be 3 weeks old. Wow. And this last 3 weeks, I've had to make adjustments for her future.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Life itself, Smitty, is about adjustments.
Yeah.
Before I invest a single dollar, before I calculate the cost and count the cost for any business deal, just me as a father, a husband of a beautiful wife, a family man, hands-on father, not a daddy, but a father. It's adjustments need to be made. You know what I mean?
That's right.
They got to be made. And then so because of that foundation, once you lay the foundation of that family, right, then I can implement, okay, I've done a great job at running my household. Then I can calculate the cost of what it would be for me to become this entrepreneur. Because though that adjustment that's the next step, then it's crucial. You can make the wrong step, Smitty, or you can make the right step. You know what I mean? Like that adjustment.
Yeah.
That adjustment is super necessary. So, okay, but for the entrepreneur though, like you have to first, that adjustment needs to be made. It's been times where my family is a part of my thinking process for the business.
Wow.
Because if I only see myself when I'm investing,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do so good.
That's right. You better count up the cost.
If this was church, I say talk back to me. But everything I do,
That's right.
Smitty, my family, it's like this little corner of my mind right over here. It has my sons out here in the studio with us too today.
Yeah.
And I wanted him to see us in motion today because the adjustments that need to be made for his future. Sometimes he got to get out here with me and understand what it takes so he can be and experience those adjustments.
Yeah.
But that adjustment that's needed, man, you have to first count what you want to do. Research, okay, find the necessary research about what you want to do, that adjustment.
Yeah.
Right. And then once you find out what it is that you want to do, let's find out the cost, what it's going to take.
Right. Right.
Calculate the cost. Count them dollars up, man.
Yeah.
If it costs me $5,000 to run my home, right, then I have to take into account that I have to be able to do my best to not hinder my household,
Right.
the necessity and the needs of the family.
Yeah.
And then whatever's left, then I can save.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could use my credit if it's good enough.
Yeah.
If I can get a loan from the institution.
Right.
Right, Smitty? But then that adjustment has to be made, like that one word, and a lot of people don't have it, and it's discipline. That discipline. Sacrificing when you know you need that money that you have invested.
I know you
Smitty,
right.
so many times my wife looking at me, scratching both sides of her head, and like, are we good?
How you doing all that?
How are you making this happen?
How's everything going?
Well, because the adjustment, Smitty, sometimes you don't have time to talk about what you do every day.
Yeah.
You just got to do it. And when your wife asks questions, you just have to be prepared to answer.
So what about the adjustment piece where the sacrifice that comes into it? Because when you make an adjustment, sometimes you have to cut back on you and your personal desires and even sometimes your first personal financial gain.
Absolutely.
Speak to that element, because that's an element of fear that a lot of people might not understand that's in entrepreneurship. You're going to have to understand that you could take a step back to gain 10 steps forward. What is that adjustment step? What does that adjustment look like?
Bingo. That's what I say. We won. You know why? Because once you make your mind up that this is what you do, when you wake up in the morning, you feel that fire, and you feel that motor move, and nobody have to text me, nobody don't have to tweet me, they don't have to hit me on my DM, on my Instagram, or message me on Facebook. They ain't got to FaceTime and look at my face and motivate me and pump me. Nothing. Guess what? That adjustment, watch what happens.
Yeah.
When you get to the point where you are the entrepreneur, and you have to make necessary adjustments and sacrifices to get to that next level, that's the biggest piece of them all. And I'm gonna tell you, I had to make one.
I had to make one. Talk to us.
I had to make one from the barbershop after I obtained my state of Michigan barber license. Right after, it's 1,800 hours now. You have to complete 1,800 clock hours now. But Smitty, when I got my license, 2,000 hours had to be put in before I can obtain my license. Not only obtain it, but I had to take a practical exam, which I had to pass with a 75%. Okay, and then I had to take a written exam. All right, and that also was a requirement to pass by 75%. Then after you work in the field for 2 or 3 years in the field, then I can go back and get and apply for my instructor license. Yeah, and that was the biggest, I could say, out of both of my licenses. I could say that was like the most sacrifice needed. Yeah, to get where I am now.
What did you sacrifice, man? What was the sacrifice like? Talk to us about the sacrifice in that adjustment period that was made. You know, all that you had to take into account. Because I remember you riding back and forth home, school, shop. Yeah. You know, I remember all that. Talk about that sacrifice that it took for that.
When you find your passion for something and you want to do something, life is always going to happen. right? And so many things happen to try to slow me down.
Yeah.
You know, 2 cars, you go down to one. My wife working in Arbor, I'm working in Detroit, and I'm going to school, and I'm paying out of pocket because I made too much money. I couldn't afford, I couldn't benefit from financial aid, so I was salty about that. I was salty about that. I was a cash student.
Right.
So not only I have my household, Smitty,
Yeah.
but I have my responsibilities, booth rent, and different things to keep the business going. I have a business I started in barber school. And then I have myself. That time, it was before the pandemic. I had church responsibilities, obligations.
Yep.
And then myself. I had myself. I was a responsibility to keep. I'm going to say it again. I was a responsibility to myself. I had to find that discipline to get to that next level. And that sacrifice, it included sacrificing $50,000
Jeez.
for the year.
Jeez.
For me to go and work for free.
So no. You gave up 50.
Yes.
For what? What did you do? What did you do for why did you give it up?
I gave it up because there was something more. The bigger picture is a bigger fish to fry. It was something more that I wanted. In order to get where I am right now, to sit here and talk to everybody and talk to you, Smitty, that sacrifice had to be made. I had to get that instructor license for the state of Michigan. And it was a requirement that I had to work for free. I had to volunteer my professional services without having any restrictions on my barber's license, without having any complaints, any type of ill things done, conjunctions, anything that will restrict me from working in an institution and obtaining my instructor's master educator license.
Man, and that's the thing, man. I sat here and I watched you have to study. You know how you teach your kids to study. You study, get your work done, and you learn this stuff, and it's gonna benefit you at the end.
Yes.
And I did the same thing. Went back as a student.
Yes.
After been working in the field for
you too, man,
18 years. It's like I'm going back to get my instructor's license. Oh man, now I'm back learning again.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm back learning again, teaching while I'm learning. And then at the same time, I got a business.
Wait. You just said something. Teaching while you're learning.
Teaching while you're learning. So when you're in barber school and you're going to get back to get your instructor's license, you're literally teaching, but you have to learn how to teach what you're teaching.
So are you teaching and learning from the same book?
No, it's 2 different books. You got a book that you're teaching from, and you got a book that you're learning from. And so you're learning how to teach what's in the book that you already know.
Man.
And see, it's deeper than what you look at.
Deeper than the cut.
Instructor's license, I'm telling y'all, this barbering thing, it goes so deep. But while doing that, you still had other responsibilities, as you talked about. You had to dig deep.
Yes, I did.
You had to dig deep down to make sure the responsibilities at the house didn't lack. You had to deep down to make sure the ministry responsibilities didn't lack.
That's right.
The kids don't care nothing about all you had to do.
That's right.
All they know is, Dad, it's my time to get my time.
I'm hungry.
And I want something to, play. It's time for us to go. You told us we was going to go here. We was going to do this. We was going to do that. But now we had a situation where, Dad, you talking about you can't give me. I can't have that.
That's right.
They don't know you lost 50.
That's right.
They don't know you sacrificed 75.
This is probably his first time hearing it.
They ain't never even considered it because they don't care nothing about that. All they know is what they require and what they desire, right?
Yes.
So we couldn't, as men of the household, as head of the household, drop the responsibility on that. Because when we go to school, we teach them with all our heart.
Yes.
When we go to school, we learn them with all our heart.
Everything.
When we in the barbershop, we giving you everything we got in them haircuts.
Right. That's right.
We go to church, we can't give God no less than what he gave
100%.
us. We gotta give him 100%.
It don't stop.
And so when we get home, that's the point that a lot of people lack at. And they say, oh, they understand.
Wow.
Oh, they get it. But you can't lack on that. You cannot look at the house and say, you know what? I can't do it this time. My daughters know I sacrifice. I give it up because I know what it means to them. And that relationship that you're building is important, especially as a man as head of the household. You setting so many boundaries, and you setting so many things for their future for them to really look at and know what to look for in a man. And those situations are very much so serious.
Sure.
So if you're talking about, some of these fears that we have, y'all, we're gonna stop and break for our sponsors for a few moments. and we're gonna pay some bills here. It's Smitty from Deeper Than the Cut, and we're prepared to launch your business and advertise it on our platform. I'm telling you, it will be a great opportunity to grow your business. If you want to take advantage of that, if you go to deeperthanthecut.com, you'll leave a comment. We'll be sure to get back with you with the different packages that we have. But Deeper Than the Cut is the place that you want to advertise your business.
All right, everybody. We are back. We are back in the building again. I got my man, Mr. Smitty, in the building next to me. Yeah, and I'm one of your hosts, the co-host, Mr. Halftime. And we're talking today the fear of entrepreneurship, man. The fear. It's a lot of fear in life, not just with entrepreneurship, just as human beings, man. And right now we're talking about the entrepreneur. What causes the entrepreneur to have fear when investing, when building your business, building a legacy, however you decide to speak about it, that word fear. But Smitty, we talked about the fear and having that negative thing. Sometimes we look at fear as something bad, or it makes you kind of apprehensive. We know that part, but we had to push past that fear, and now we're at a place where we are successful. Yeah. Now let's talk about the risks. After you realize what it takes to become this entrepreneur and sustain yourself, what are some risks? Talk to us about the risks that goes into entrepreneurship.
Man, it's so many risks, and to be honest with you, any successful entrepreneur, and statistics say that 88% of Americans that are millionaires are entrepreneurs.
Wow.
And as an entrepreneur, you have to take risk, but we have to make sure that we take calculated risk.
Come on.
Now, you don't take risk and just throw caution into the wind and take money and throw it out the window and hope, something stick or the right person pick it up and say, here's your money back. You take risks that is going to give you a return.
That's right.
Right. And so, in the business of barbering, the risk that you take, you start realizing, what does it take? What do you need? You need a building. Okay, in a building, what kind of size do you need? How many barbers do you want? How many stations do you want to set up? Right.
Calculate.
So you have to start realizing, if I set up this many stations and my rent or my mortgage on this building is X, Y, and Z, then how many stations do I need to just cut at a baseline at even? Where am I at even? Once I factor in my bills, my electricity, my gas, once you start calculating up these things, you gotta count up the cost before you build the house, right?
Come on.
You don't build the house and then say, let me see if I got enough.
I'm short, man. I got 5 on it.
see, when you build it first and then try and pay for it as you go, then you start realizing, you building more, or you biting off more than you can chew, as my mother used to say.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that in having risk, that you make it calculated. You don't just jump off the porch and not consider how far down you jump.
That's right.
Right? Because if you don't, you've been and bust your head open, or you can fall on sticks that's down there.
Yes,
but because you didn't look and see what you were jumping into, now you're dealing with with something that you never had you looked at it. And had you took the calculated risk or realizing what you were doing. So the risk that you take are necessary, but you want to make sure it's as close to being calculated to having a projection. If I do this, then this will come, right?
Yes.
So you gotta make decisions that are going to have somewhat a predictable outcome.
Sure.
Right. So you can't say I want to build out $1 million building, but you got a shoestring budget.
Oh man,
right?
That's not gonna work.
Right. So the part of the risk that you take is based upon what you have and what you're doing. Some people may feel like a risk, if you got $10,000, a risk is putting in $3,000. Some people might feel a risk is $5,000 for whatever business venture you're looking for. But then some people might say, I got a risk of $10,000. But when you risk it all, you got to consider what's going to come back, the time that you have to wait on things to come back, that return on your investment. You got to realize all that and take that into consideration, because if you don't, you put that $10,000 in there, I'm telling you, you might not have a house.
That's right.
That car might get repossessed,
and it goes to that fear of losing.
And now the fear of failure becomes a reality because you didn't count up the cost. But that's the risk you didn't take.
That's
the risk
punchline. That's good. That's heavy. I mean, I've lost out, man. I would say the business names and stuff, but He laughing because he already know we've been brothers, man, for a long. Look, friendship turned to brotherhoods around here. So
you
it's a
need
lot.
to understand what's understood.
What's already understood.
That's
And
right.
reason why he can laugh before I even say it, because he been there with me
Absolutely.
and been a part of my life when I've lost and lost out, man, failed on certain attempts to be successful. And man, I can be honest with you, I lost. I calculated the cost, and there was times where in that particular moment, it was a risk to invest.
Yeah.
You know, $4,000 I invested. And man, when I tell you, I didn't even break even. so you know, it was times with my wife.
Funny now.
It's funny now. We
now.
can laugh. Or we can laugh. Oh, sometimes my wife, she still remind me. She make sure she hang that over my head like a mistletoe. She put it right there, be like, woo. Because they trust us. Our wives, they trust us to do what we do. And I thought I had it all figured out.
Yeah.
And she gave me the green light to say, baby, go ahead. Because I believe I know what you know, even though I don't see it.
Right.
I don't understand it. I know you know. But that fear of failing, man, that risks that are needed to be successful. I'll say it like this: you cannot be successful without taking risks.
Absolutely. And halftime, I'm gonna talk to a situation where we had a business venture together.
Yes.
We had a barbershop over on 7 Mile DeQuinta here in Detroit. And the name of it was Halftime Sports Barbershop, hence the name Halftime, right?
The name.
So we had a barbershop over there, and it was doing well, doing amazing. I mean, we had a 2,900 square foot building.
Wonderful.
And I mean, we had everything from massage chairs to jerseys hanging up, tabletop games,
all type of memorabilia.
Pool. We had a little kitchenette set up.
Yes.
We had a little place where you can throw your little baby showers. I'm talking about, it was amazing.
Really
it was unreal. We had a clothing store in there.
Yes.
I mean, we had everything inside this shop.
Don't forget that white chili.
Oh yeah.
From Seldom Blue. We had a certified chef. They would come in on Thursday through Saturday after about 4 o'clock, and he came in and cooked.
And we had everything that you can possibly want, right?
Yes, sir.
And I remember putting my all into that business. I remember me and Halftime at times saying, "Hey man, I got this left. What you got?" You know what I'm saying? We got this. Hey man, you got this. We got this, and we kind of exchanged, but we put everything we had into it, right? Because it was something that we wanted to be successful.
Absolutely.
For unforeseen things that we didn't consider, the business had to close after 2 years.
Yep.
So
that's crazy.
We had a great thing going.
Still
I mean, making money every which way. I mean, putting business, the things you have to consider is where you put your business at.
Yes.
So we had a lot of break-ins to the point where we got kicked off our insurance.
They kicked Guardian Lauren didn't want us no more. They said we fired.
I mean, it was situations that we didn't consider, but we were young. I was like, what, 21, 22?
Man, we was young, man.
And so it's like, you know, trying to get this business rolling, but it was a lesson learned. It was a risk. And we calculated a lot of it, but we didn't calculate everything. We didn't calculate the placement of the business, right? Yes. And so the placement of the business became our detriment. And it became a situation where after 2 years, we had to close up. Yeah. And we had to make the sacrifice of going to work somewhere for 4 years. Yep. Right. But after working where we worked there for 4 years, which is where we didn't want to be, but it was a time in which we used to benefit from. And we thank God for it's a pleasure for Damon.
Mr. Pleasure. What's up?
He let us come over there and work. Another entrepreneur.
Shout out to Debo.
Shout out to Debo. And he let us come over there and work, and we was over there working, and we gained another brother from working over there.
Yes, sir.
Right. So it was like the process is what we cannot deny. We cannot act as if the process does not lead us to where we're supposed to go. That's now, right. I didn't feel like failure should have been a part of our process.
Absolutely.
Right. No. But the reality of it is when you take risk and you move in with momentum, sometimes failure could come out of it.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, it's fruit and failure.
Yes, it is.
Failure is not to your demise or to your detriment. Oh, you can create fruit out of failure. And that's what we did. And now we here now, going on 9 years later at a new barbershop, Executive Cuts and More, and it's going stronger than ever. We're in the right area, in the right place with the right people. And the process of failure led us to this, though, because it taught us what not to do.
Talk about it.
When we get into the place that God designed for us to be. So you can't be afraid of failing. You can't be afraid of risk. You got to be willing to put that chance and that opportunity out there. And while calculating it best to your ability, if you put the right calculations together, it'll come back to you. Even if you fail, you can come back out of it because there's fruit in failure.
There is fruit and failure. And, you know, Warren Buffett, my friend, man, but I'm going to tell you, he don't even know he's my friend. That's my guy. What's up, Warren Buffett? What's up? How you doing, brother, today? Hope your day is going well. But no, I love the quote, man, for real, because he talks about failure in the same way, Smitty. He talks about failure. It's a benefit in failing.
Absolutely.
Failing is not all bad. You know, we wouldn't be here right now to talk to you all if failing was bad. If it was a bad thing, if it was something that destroyed you, well, I wouldn't be here right now successful. 2 licenses, others extracurricular, extra continuing educational credits, and like just certificates that goes into what we're doing to benefit our future. There's risks that need to be taken and to be successful every day.
You got to do it. If you don't take the risk, you can't benefit from the success of it.
No, you can't.
Yeah, and think about it. Halftime. What are some of the things that you consider like new adventures that you're doing? When we talking about taking risks, there are things that you have to do that become uncomfortable for you because it's new.
Yeah,
it's things that you haven't been privy to. Yeah, and so now you feeling this unction to go and do something different. Yeah. But you haven't gotten the settling in your spirit to go ahead and do it. But you're feeling like it's more to me than what I'm experiencing right now. What does that speak to you when you talk about new adventures that could come up that you need to start moving into?
Man, you first again, once you've done those first steps to believing in yourself, and then finding out that passion, finding out if that's what you want to do, and researching and finding necessary research and find out what you need to do for that next level, as far as like investing, calculating the cost, and putting things in proper perspective. Then now I'm at a place where now to start something new. Yeah. To start something new, it's like another adjustment. It's another level of adjustments that need to be made. And you have to have that confidence, right? That confidence that's needed, that's going to carry you over. Because remember, to get started, you had to count the cost. You had to count the cost.
That's right.
Take those necessary risks. But now once you make it and you've been there and sustained yourself for a number of years to get to that next level, it's the mindset can stay the same, but there's a different adjustment, the tweak that needs to happen to get over the hill. Yeah. You got to get over the hill. Yes, and once you recognize what that is, so like for us, we've been in business together for over 20 years, and I've watched you grow, you watch me grow, and we really don't do anything different. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like the time of today in a pandemic. Talk about adjustments. We haven't even spoke about the adjustments needed to take in a pandemic, through COVID-19, through Delta, through Omicron, and whatever else they're going to throw at us. We're going to have to continue to make those necessary adjustments. But to make those necessary adjustments, you're going to have to have a little bit more believing in yourself, because now you're carrying a lot of weight, a lot of confidence. You're going to need a lot of confidence. Yeah. Because you're carrying a lot of weight now, and you're talking about going into a different venture that maybe don't even have anything to do with your business, your passion. Yeah, that's kind of like, what we're doing right now. That podcasting. This is something that is fairly new. It's a new groundbreaking thing for us per se, because we've been by trade and by license in the barber industry, right? And so I remember the first time you went and did one of the podcasts. Yes, Born With It. Yeah, Born With It. And we'll be going on there this upcoming Wednesday. Lano, what's up over there? But I remember you coming back from there in a renewed energy that you had. Yes, sir. About something that was new that we've never done before. Never knew I had it. We never, ever even thought about it. I mean, we know Tarmel asked us on several occasions to, go ahead and start doing that for 2 years. 2 years. And the timing was like, we kept saying that was part of the, I guess, fear. I guess you could say. It was like, it just wasn't, I don't have time. I'm busy, I'm running. And now it's something that we enjoy, and that is informational to help the listeners to understand about some of the things that we've been through. Sure. And so entering a new world in a new space outside of what you're used to
can create a whole nother lane of not just income, but an outcome.
Yes, sir.
You get to have an outcome.
Come on with
because now you get to affect people. You get to infect people.
That's right.
I tell people my purpose in life is to effectively affect people.
Yes.
And so when you have the gift and the resources to do so, we got to do what we do here on Deeper Than the Cup.
Come on.
We got to build them bridges. We got to build bridges.
One individual.
We got to connect one person to the next person
at a time,
so that we can begin to build our community and see what we're praying for within our own community. Be a part of the change, right?
Yes, sir.
And be a part of the adjustments and be a part of the calculated risk that's needed. So the things that are happening within Deeper Than the Cut is some new grounds for us, but we see how it has been paying off. The viewership is going up. People have been tuning in.
Yeah.
People have been calling us. They have been texting us and
everybody.
inboxing us and telling us how much they appreciate the show. And so then you start to realize your level of influence is greater than you thought it was,
yes,
right?
Sir.
And so you never would have known it had you went into new territory.
That's right.
To find out what is in this new territory for me.
That's
so
right.
You can't be afraid of things that are unfamiliar to you. You can't be afraid of things that are new, because inside of that thing that is new could be the very thing that God is calling you to.
And I agree 100%. I remember that day to the letter. And Mr. Bennett, he know my man Lano, that's my guy over there, Born With It podcast. They have an awesome show, man. Awesome brother too, entrepreneurial barber. And but that day was so real. And I remember standing in the shop, and I was like, man, I canceled a few clients.
Yep.
So I sacrificed some money. I sacrificed a couple of clients that I could have made good money on to go over there at a decent time, not just show up late and just kind of like drag into it. I say, if I'm going to do it, I had to pump myself up.
Yeah.
I had to pump myself, but I didn't really want to do it, to be honest.
Right.
But when I got over there and I was able to sit and view and the fellowship and the bond, the camaraderie that we had as brothers, man, we just kicked it off real good.
Right.
And the whole show, man, they didn't even know what my mind was. I'm just looking around thinking like, and that she was the producer even asked, she said, have you ever did your own podcast? I said, no. And we got to talking, and let me show you how God works. We got to talking, and I started talking about my brand Swirl Curl and everything. And one of the gentlemen said, wait a minute, you a Swirl Curl? Was like, yeah. I was like, wait a minute. And told me, it was like, man, we know you already. And it was like,
wow.
But that fear of taking that risk, taking that being afraid of being successful. You can be afraid from doing something good.
Afraid of success.
Afraid of success. When I got there, when I tell you the lights, camera, action, and I was sitting there, I was like, I can't wait to call my brother Smitty. I can't wait to get in the car and just call him and tell him it's on.
Yes, sir.
Game on. And from there, we are here. We started a business venture, took really fast, and the necessary adjustments to calculate the cost and all of that stuff, putting everything in perspective, the time, the energy, and everything into it, Smitty.
Absolutely.
Is what we've had to do. So we're not just talking about it. We're actually living it right now.
Yes, sir. We're going to come back in a few minutes and talk about this last piece of this fear of entrepreneurship. But right now, we're going to hear from one or more of our sponsors.
This is Motor City, and being from Motor City all my life, I felt like it's the perfect opportunity to bring out a product that has the identity of what Detroit is made of. It's quality. So this product, Swirl Curl, is all natural with 70% organic content. Reason being is because there's so many unnatural products on the market for barbers. This product, Swirl Curl, it starts off as a 3-piece kit, which number one is the Swirl Curl Beard and Facial Wash. This wash is so wonderful. Women actually are showing so much energy behind this product. The wash is simply to remove all of the dirt and all of the debris from beneath the skin surface and out of the hair. Now you implement the beard oil, which is of course We use the oil as the nutrition. That is the protein that you deposit into the hair after you've washed off all of last week's, all of yesterday's dirt debris. Then you use the beard balm. It's a conditioner. It is a protector. It makes the skin soft. It makes the hair smooth. And this kit is just phenomenal.
What's up, everybody? This your boy Terrence Hobson, also known as, you know, Mr. Halftime from Deeper Than the Cup podcast. What's up? Listen, swirlcurl.com is the place where you purchase these awesome products. 70% organic, 30% natural, men, women, children, no gender preference, no age preference. And you can go to swirlcurl.com for these awesome products. And that's Swirl Curl, SWURLKURL.com. You can also purchase haircuts. You can also schedule haircuts. You can also take a tour, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the products. Please let me know. I'm owner and founder, Mr. Halftime, Deeper Than the Cut. All right, everybody. We are back, man. We're having a good time, Smitty.
Yes, sir.
I'm having a good time with my guy over here, man.
It's always a good time when I'm with my man.
I'm learning, man. I'm learning too. We been together,
Man.
but I'm still learning from you though.
Hey, we learning from each other, man.
Yeah.
Iron sharpens iron.
Building bridges, friendship, turn to brotherhood.
It's always.
Look, man. Look, we just concluded talking about that adjustment, those risks, those fears, right? When you already make it, what's next in line? What do you have to do next in line? What is next in line once you've already stabilized yourself as this entrepreneur?
Yeah.
And one of the things that we do, if you didn't know, well, myself and Smitty, we're licensed instructors.
Yes,
The Michigan
sir.
Barber School, where we have a passion,
Yeah.
you know, to do what we do. And we take so much pride. We just take so much pride
Absolutely.
and what we do at the school, Smitty. And I when you talk about institution, talk about schools, then it's way deeper than that surface. What the community is what we're
Absolutely.
really giving back to. So speak to
Absolutely.
us from that business venture.
Oftentimes, man, when the thing that bothers me, I say it this way, the thing that bothers me about people that are successful in any lane in which they, desire to be successful in is that they hold the information, right? You become like a person who's selfish and a person who don't want to share information to help others to be better. And so what I vowed to myself is whatever I know, I want to be the person that gives away every bit of information that I have, any success stories, any failure stories, because I want you to learn from my successes, but I also want you to learn from the ditches I fell in, because that's going to be an important piece to teach you what not to do. Right. So what I've done when I started going back to Michigan Barber School, my mindset was, because barbering, I've done very well for myself. I've done an amazing level of work for myself within the barbering community. But what I found out was happening was that, I wanted to affect the barbering industry at the most effective way. I wanted to be effective within the industry. So I went out to be on the board. I became a part of the board for the state of Michigan.
Come on.
And I became the chairman of the board, right? But then on top of that, I wanted to be effective, not just in the law writing, not just in the fines and legislating. I wanted to make sure that I can affect the people within my community with the same knowledge that I have from cutting hair, from business acumen, from behavior, speech, dress. I wanted to be I wanted to affect the people that I see on a day-to-day basis. So I said, I need to go back to school and start, what better way to do it than to go back to school and teach it?
That's right.
And so to teach it was to give me an opportunity to not just go back and show people what I know, but pour into the next community and the next generation of barbers that desire to be a part of this industry that I know will take care of not just you, but your family and your family's family,
for years.
if you take care of it. And so I desire to go back to help And that's what I do over at Michigan Barber School, man. It's an absolute delight to me. I'm so honest and truthful.
Yes, it is.
Them students, they light me up. If I'm having, a little rough morning or something, or I ain't had my coffee yet, I ain't had my breakfast yet. They literally become the source and fibers that is needed for me to get perked up, because ain't nothing like somebody that want information.
Man, it's gratifying.
And you got the answer.
Oh, you got the answer. How good.
There's nothing like having, the opportunity to put people in a position to be successful, and you know what you're talking about.
Yes.
And you have a proven track record of it. And so being able to go back to Michigan Barber School has been such a delight. It's been a pleasure. And I'm looking forward to the years to come at Michigan Barber School. So it's just something I always wanted to do. And I know you're doing the same thing, man. So what say you?
Man, listen. What he said. No. But so true. That's true. It's what he said. And we share, because we're the same institution. We were working in the same business, working with each other for so many years and doing so many things together, families and business and all of this, entangled into this brotherhood that we have. It's like just in a barbershop, Smitty. How many clients have you given away? Talk about doing community work.
Oh, geez.
How many clients do you still see go and sit in somebody else's chair and you don't have an ill bone in your body?
Man, you can't be like that, man. This barber industry is so vast. And and be honest with you, I gotta say, I got it from you. With me coming into the barber industry at the young ripe age of 19 years old.
I remember that.
I was like, enter into something that was a little fearful, but I knew I wanted to do it. And I remember you having the opportunity to bless me and to help me by saying, look, to get started, here's a couple people, you know what I'm saying? Because they wasn't trying to mess with me. I'm the new guy on the block, you know what I'm saying? So I had to do eyebrows to get on, you know what I'm saying? I did doing eyebrows because they didn't trust me with the haircuts, right?
I remember.
And so I had a couple people of, you know what I'm saying, your clients like, hey, my man working the razor, if I go over there, you like, hey, man, go ahead. That's my man. That's my man. Go ahead. And for years, they were my clients after, after being your client. I mean, it ain't hurt that he had an overflow of clientele, so it ain't like he was missing it. So now it was a lesson being learned that I teach to this day. If you come in, and that's one of the requirements that I ask new barbers when they come to the barber shop and they want to work at the shop, how would you feel if you saw another client of one of your clients in another barber chair?
Yes.
Like that's a big thing, because if you're gonna get mad, upset, frustrated, and ready to fight over something that a client decides to do, they ain't coerce your client.
That's right.
The client decides to do it, and it's nothing. You don't have a gripe there,
control.
Right? You don't have a gripe there, right? So with that being said, it was like, hey, why not give them away? Yes. It's the industry that they don't belong to me. Like I love them, I appreciate them, but at the end of the day, a client gets to go where they need to go so they can get service. As long as they still hear the executive cut, I'm just as happy as if I'm cutting them.
That's right. And not to mention, though, it's not going to hurt you at all. One of the reasons why it's not going to hurt you, because you have a skill set, you have a personality, you're loved by your community. People are going to still come to you. Your craft don't stop because you lose one client or you give one client away. People move around all the time, and I think that's one of our biggest attributes at our shop at Executive Cuts at the barbershop where you manage. It's like, man, you set the tone, I set the tone, and the other guys, Mo and Mr. Elton, they set the tone.
Yeah.
We work together as a team.
Absolutely.
And that's the only way to build a legacy and build a long-term relationship that came from a friendship, a brotherhood that came from friendship.
Yeah.
Like you have to be willing to share.
You can't have it all. If you eat it all, you're gonna be fat. You're gonna be out of shape,
overrun, ran down,
and it's not gonna benefit you.
No, it's not.
It's gonna be gluttony, and
absolutely,
you just greedy.
But what about in the school too, though? Because we talked about the community and we talked about it being our passion, but then how much have you given? You know what I mean? Like, I've given a lot that the front office don't know about. It's none of their business, because I run my classroom, and my job is to instill positive changes in all of my students. You know what I mean?
What
like
you
I've
give,
given a lot.
what you give goes far beyond, and I know we're gonna get ready to wrap it up in a minute, but
Yes.
what you give goes far beyond what anybody could ever see with the natural eye when you really care about something. Point today. I had one of my students, and I'll start with last night, a student that has graduated. He already graduated from the school. He picked me to be his mentor, but I don't have responsibility per se to him once school is over with. But it goes further than that to me, because when I tell you I want to see you successful, I'm going to the end.
Yes,
and
sir.
so there were times where the school was closed where he wasn't able to come up and get, extracurricular work to go to the board because he getting ready to go to the board. So I tell him, look, I'm gonna send you a Zoom link. I'm going to come on Zoom with you. I'm going to go over this board procedure. This outside, I ain't getting paid for this.
Right.
I'm not asking him for payment for
That's
this.
right.
All I want to do is see you successful,
That's
right? And so when you care, when you start giving back,
Yeah.
it's not about the payment. It's not about the income. It's about the outcome, right?
Ooh.
And so because we want a proper outcome, you go above and beyond the borders, right? You really can't even pay me for the stuff that I do because I care. It goes beyond just, let me see what I can give you. Let me show you this. So I give him the Zoom link. We go over the procedures for, the board procedures. He said, thank you, Mr. Smith. I appreciate you. Shout out to Ken. He said, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And then he goes and take the board the next day. He sent me the what's name. He said, Mr. Smith, I passed the first part of the board. I said, I knew you would. I knew you could. Just encourage him. Keep him going, right? Yeah. So now it's time for him to take the second part, because you got to take two parts to become a licensed barber, right?
That's right.
But he's still out of school. He calls me and say, Mr. Smith, I wanted to come up and get some work on the computer done, so I can start going over these tests and things like that, so I can start understanding the written part of this exam. I said, well, the school closed. I said, but look, here you go, do this. I got here's some tests I gave you already. So I done went through tests with him. I printed them out, gave them to him. So study guide.
Man. That's extra.
This stuff is just because I want you to be successful, right?
Yeah.
So he goes and takes the test on today.
This morning, 8:30.
He took the test at 8:30. Matter of fact, last night he texted you. I think he texted halftime too.
He did.
He said, hey, such and such, what does I need to learn?
And I poured into him.
All you do is give him what you got.
Just give it to him.
Give it everything I have. And this the school don't even know. This breaking news right now. They don't even know.
They don't even know.
Because I care. Because we care.
That's right.
Because it matters.
That's right.
The outcome of this whole situation was he took the test this morning. And today, February, what's today's date?
7th.
Yeah, the February, this day.
7th.
He got his barber license today. He's licensed today because he passed not just the practical side, but the written side. And so this is the type of stuff that you pour. And this is just one example. This has been over and over. I've been there, 4 years? Going on 4 years. So it's been over and over and over and over. Happened again with these students. But I tell the students, however much you put in, is how much I'm gonna put in. And I guarantee you, if you put in what I'm putting in, you're gonna be successful because the answers is available to you.
That's right.
And that's all giving back to the community is making sure that you understand that it ain't about the income all the time.
That's right.
It's about what the outcome of the situation gonna be.
That community, man, is huge. That's huge. And we about to wrap it up. And I'll say this, man, it's like you gotta give 100% effort. It's a special an instructor, a teacher is a special person. Should be, I feel it should, a background check or something should be done, because it's a lot of hanky panky going on in some of these classrooms, man. And these students their futures are being compromised. You know what I mean? If you don't care, get out of the classroom. Dan Gilbert got some quicker loans down there for you.
Yes,
you go down, you be by yourself.
Yes,
this is another segment of Deeper Than the Cut, y'all. Episode 6 in the book. Look, go subscribe now. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, D-Tag on Instagram, man. Smash all those buttons, man. Guess what else? Go to the website, man. Go ahead and hit the comment button. Tell us what you think about this show. Ask us questions, and don't forget to love us. You know what I mean?
DeeperThanTheCut.com.
DeeperThanTheCut.com.
We'll have all of our availabilities of where we can be found at. YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. We need you to become a part of sharing this information to the community. Don't hold it to yourself. Don't be selfish, because we got a word for you.
That's right.
You might be hurting,
but your show ain't helpless.
Deeper Than the Cut.
It's Deeper Than the Cut.
It's Bush Fix on the beats.
deeper. Yeah. If you survive and can see through the pain, it gets deeper.
Virtue subtracts today.
If you can shine through the guilt and the shame, it gets deeper. It only takes one moment to change. You might be hurting, but you still ain't helpless. And the revelation carries way more than the message. It's more to that lineup. It's the mind behind, son. Over your mind, you realize.
Yeah.
You might be hurting, but you're not helpless.
But you're not helpless. Keep it in the cut.
Help is on the way.
Yeah.
Peace is nice, please. It's like Chinese diets on peas and rice. Righteous, you see my sight whenever I